the universe knows what we want, and it's always trying to get us there through the path of least resistance, right? And this is what we're talking about, being able to line up with that. But it's also in that one part of trusting and faith there is that when things don't seem like they're working out for you, or you feel like you're being stymied, maybe taking a look at it and saying, okay, I don't know what's going to happen or what's supposed to happen. So I'm just going to trust that I'm in the right place at the right time. Human design reveals who you are energetically and who you came here to be. I'm Dana, human design specialist.
And I'm Haley, the human design newbie. Listen in as we explore how leaning into your authentic self is your ultimate path to success. Welcome to the Human Design High podcast. Let's get into it.
Hello, hello. How you doing, Haley?
I'm good. I'm back.
I'm surprised you didn't come back with a strong I'm back.
Well, you asked me a question, so I had to answer the question.
How are you doing? Yes, of course. Well, yes, of course. You are back, and I'm so glad you are back because it gets lonely talking to yourself, even though I'm talking to everybody out there that's listening. I don't get any immediate feedback, so I tend to flounder sometimes when I don't have immediate feedback for you to look at me and say, does that make sense?
Does that? I don't know if that's what you meant.
Yeah, so you are back and refreshed. You are now married. Yes. I don't think it's official, Mrs. Grooms. You got to change your name.
Yeah, I have started that process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me know so I can change the show notes and description. Don't want to confuse
so
the
much
identity.
To change.
But it was a beautiful wedding. You did an amazing job. I tell everybody about how they say, oh, everything was so beautiful and the colors. And it went, I was like, that was all Haley. She designed the whole thing. It was her vision, her little projector capabilities in full force of managing the project and bringing it all together. And it was really a wonderful, wonderful time. And
it was very perfect. Like, I feel like nothing ever really went wrong.
I will say it was very efficient. I mean, we've kind of all had the impression that it was very fast. It was a very fast day.
Very fast. There was one point I walked out of the ballroom. We were like, it was part of the reception. We were dancing. I walked out, I think to go get a water or something. And Lori, the planner, she comes up to me and she's like, do you want to move up the exit since people are already leaving? And I was like, what time is it? She's like, 8:40. Exit was planned for 9. I was like, no, don't move it up. No.
No. Well, those were the non-drinkers were probably leaving early.
Yeah.
The Grooms family.
No, it was very fast. Like, it went by so quickly.
It was. Well, I was telling somebody that I think it's kind of like the anticipation of something, even for me, it was like exciting anticipation, but it was also the same kind of feeling like when you guys were getting ready to like graduate high school and leave the house, where it was this kind of dread feeling the whole time of like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so emotional. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it. I'm going to be a mess. And then when it actually happens, you're like, oh, okay, we're just having fun. It was a good time. I swear to you, the only time I cried was when Presley danced with Margie, with his aunt. That was the only time where I got very emotional because, your father-in-law, Ralph, punched us all in the gut a couple times the night before at the rehearsal dinner with all his beautiful, touching speeches.
I know.
Then I was like, dang it, Ralph, I wasn't expecting to be crying. This is a taco bar. Nobody cries with tacos in front of us.
I know.
But it was it was really the song that he picked that was very sweet about that's what mamas
are for. Yeah.
An old country song that just wants to reach right in and grab your heart and tear it out.
Rip it out.
Yeah. That's how
I swear I blacked out walking down the aisle. I don't remember anything.
Well, look good. And everything. Look, it was very fast. It was one of the fastest ceremonies I ever went to, but it was
Mhm.
it was very sweet.
Taylor came
But
up to me during the reception after dinner, and
hmm
she's like, that was the most Haley ceremony I've ever seen. I was like, thank you. She's like, it was so quick and like efficient. I was like, thank you. I was
that's what
like,
I'm talking about.
I wanted short and sweet and to the point.
Yes, it was. There was no extra like everybody looking at their watches or the program to figure out how much more they had to go through before they
Hmm.
get to go have a glass of champagne.
Hmm.
It was
And
everything was perfect.
I only got one hors d'oeuvre. I
I
only got
know.
the bacon jam. I never got one of the tuna poke on the
Oh,
wonton, and
I
that's what
did.
I wanted. Didn't
I
get
got
one.
two of them because I was hanging on the far end of the porch there by the bar, talking to my friends, and it didn't come too often, but I did snag two of them, so they were delicious. Sorry, and I had, but anyways, I'm sure everybody's really excited to hear about what we ate at your wedding. They're like, I came here for human design. I'm trying to figure things out here. You're talking about bacon jam crostinis.
Well, to be fair, this is like the first time we've really talked to each other since then.
I know. Let's not mention the 45 minutes we just spent talking before we hit record.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's all right. We are blessed to live in an era that we can do that we can see each other, talk to each other, not be in the same place.
Hmm.
And I'm grateful for that. So
Yeah.
let's get into it then for our listeners here of what we want to talk or what I want to share with you today. So as we were talking before we got on the call, Haley has not been listening to any of the episodes, so she has no idea what I've been talking about. She's been a little
Damn, why you
busy.
gotta throw me under the bus? I mean, I haven't listened to any of them.
Well, mothers sometimes have to guilt their children, but no, I'm not trying to really. No, it's fine. You have access to me all the time. You can ask me something, whatever you want.
Hmm.
So anyway, so the last episode, I was talking about timing and how we often feel so pressured and time constraints. And there's lots of reasons for that in the chart energetically, depending on your design. There's also, I was thinking about it even more of just our current lifestyles for most of us. Like we said, we have constant access to everything.
Hmm.
Uh, there doesn't seem to be much room for downtime anymore because people
Everything is
always.
like so fast paced, right in the moment. Like you
Mhm,
have to have it right there.
mhm. And then really the expectations put on people all the time is through speed and efficiency. Not talking about your wedding.
No,
But it
that was
also.
purposeful.
And I didn't discuss this on the podcast, but when COVID hit and everything shut down and slowed down, it was the first time, the whole world for most purposes, as long as I know there was a lot of people suffering at that time too, but there was also this kind of, relief almost that we didn't have this pressure on us anymore
Hmm.
because there's nothing much of us could do.
Yeah.
But it was a
People
great
started
pause.
taking up other hobbies, lots of
Yeah.
bread making.
Yeah.
But people had like that time and they felt like they could use their time to be doing something that like enriched their lives in a different way than just
Yeah.
trying to make a buck.
Yeah. And then I feel like when things started opening up again as quickly as they could, and I totally understand that for, lots of different reasons. Having been a small business owner, I know that, it's really, if you don't have a safety net, you don't have anybody that's helping you. It's, imperative to get open again. And we live in a town here that is definitely dependent on hospitality. But
Hmm.
I feel like it's almost like the time pressure got even worse because now it did kind of open that Pandora's box. I don't know if it's a Pandora's box, but it did kind of give our employers and business owners, all this stuff, more of a um, quote unquote right to us 24 hours a day. Because once people started like working at home and always had their computer, like now everybody
Mhm.
knows how to use Zoom and is, able to, well, I could just make a quick email or a text. There's just so many time pressures all the time.
Mhm.
And it almost feels worse now. And I think that's another reason why people feel so burnt out is because, like you said, they were able to spend the time they wanted to. And now
Mhm.
it's this pressure's here.
Yeah.
And that's not exactly what I was talking about last week, but just some things I've been thinking about. And we will be talking about burnout here in future episodes. So, but today, what I want to talk about is one of the things, the main thing I was talking about, that there is a lot of pressure on us all the time to feel like we are running out of time. We don't have enough time. When is the right time? And so much of what human design shows us in our own individual designs is how we're designed to wait and interact with basically the quantum field and divine timing. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's, and that's probably also the biggest resistance people have coming to human design is all the waiting. Suddenly we're told that in different ways, we're all meant to wait. And
Right.
especially Americans, we don't want to wait. We want it now.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. And I won't even say Western culture for that. I'll say Americans. We're just
American.
very driven. And so one of the things that I have been taught and I've been learning through my work with Karen Curry Parker is that we can't control time. We always feel time pressure. We can't control it, but we can influence it. We can
Mhm.
influence really in the sense that what divine timing is. We always talk about divine timing like it's some mystical thing, which it is, right? But it is also in the context of looking at your design and the law of attraction and all these universal laws, it's really energetically getting yourself aligned and ready so that the path of least resistance is laid out in front of you. And that's what you can call divine timing. We call it, oh, it's such a coincidence, or things just suddenly worked out for me, or once
Mhm.
I stopped fighting, it just kind of all fell into place. Well,
Right.
that's reducing the resistance to what I think Ra originally called it the program, or the voice called it the program wants us to do. Take that however
That
you
doesn't
want it,
sound at a cult at all.
right?
No, not at all.
But mainly it's really the I think it's just the divine timing of what the universe can see, that it knows what you want. You've everything that you desire, you want, has been put out there into the cosmos, right? It's that
Mhm.
energy that you are putting out there. However, you have to get into alignment with the energy of what it is that you want in order for it to be brought to you. And that means that that's what I mean by you can influence the timing of things by helping yourself get into alignment for what is coming.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I get on that wavelength.
That way. Very much so. So,
I remember things.
so I think we also kind of alluded to the fact that we would be doing this when we did the episode on the Root Center. And
Mhm.
if you haven't listened to the episode about the Root Center yet, you can go back and listen to it again. I should know what episode it is, but I don't. But it's pretty easy to find. If you just scroll through our episodes, it'll say Root Center, and where we went through all the gates, right? And
Mhm.
we touched on the fact that I have a completely open root center, no activations, and you have a pretty defined root center with 5 out of 9 gates activated. So it's an interesting, interesting experience between the two of us. And
Mhm.
so basically, the root center, in a nutshell, was. Do you remember what the root center does?
No, it's a
Or not?
it's a pressure center.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it is fluctuating energy, like
Pulsing.
pulsing,
Mm-hmm.
pulsing. We've touched that it's a timing thing. I don't remember really what else it.
That's
Oh, a creativity center.
no, it's a motor. And
Yes,
it's a pressure center. The other pressure center is the head center.
mm-hmm.
And
Found
so
out I have both.
yeah, the head center is the open head. It creates this pressure to know, and
Mm-hmm.
to, have the answers. And the root center creates this pressure that's basically this this pulse energy that it has is the energy that comes up out of really the earth, this creative energy that is always pushing us to evolve and grow. So it is really that pulse of life that gets things moving, that gets it
Mm.
going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And um, it is a very strong energy, but it's also a unpredictable energy of when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. But like I think we talked about your defined root center, you know what it feels like to you when that energy's there. Like you know when you
Mm-hmm.
have the energy to do something and when you don't. Am I correct?
I had it yesterday.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what was that like?
I just like constantly felt like I needed to be like I just started like kind of purging stuff. Like
Mm.
I got up and I made muffins, made some
Mm.
paleo apple muffins, and then like started purging some things out of the kitchen. And then we moved into the closet and I started purging things out of there.
I'm so excited
Yeah.
you're saying that. That's so exciting
It
because that's
was
very
like purging
relevant.
and reorganizing things. But
Mm.
yeah. But I
Mm.
like as I was there, I was like, this is my root center. Like I feel like I have this extra energy.
Mm-hmm. And did you feel it was any way purposeful, or was it just a feeling of like having that energy there of just now's the time to do it?
It I don't know if it was just it felt like I needed to be doing those items specifically, those purging items, but also I don't know if that was because that was the energy that was brought forward or because I
Mm-hmm.
had the energy and those were things that I knew I needed to get done.
Mm-hmm. Was it something that you've been wanting to do, or you just been kind of like, nah, I just don't want to do it now?
Kind of, I mean,
Something you've been thinking about, I mean. Not
a
the
little
muffins.
bit.
Maybe you were thinking about the
No,
muffins.
no, like because I mean, we've talked about it, me and Presley in the past couple weeks. We do need to be like purging things because we have to move and like
Mm-hmm.
clear out that. So we had kind of been talking about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like yesterday, I was like, I need to do this now.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's cool. Well, it's interesting because that is one of the ways you can help influence time. So or timing. So yeah. So when we look at the root center, and it's got these 9 gates, and they all channel energy to different parts of the chart. So there is that very strong energy there. It creates a lot of pressure, but because it is supposed to get this life force moving, this pulse of creativity in a way, because it is the
Mm-hmm.
energy to get it going. And so if it's moving towards it's a strong energy that's trying to get to the throat, to manifest, to get out into the
Right.
world. But it has to go through the other centers. It has to go through either the spleen, the sacral, or the emotional solar plexus. So if you're looking at the chart, you can see it goes
Mm-hmm.
left spleen, straight up the middle sacral, over to the right emotional. And so in a quick review, we know the spleen center is instinct, survival
Mm-hmm.
based. There's a lot of fear based action there. It's moving, creating out of fear, but it's also those channels that are moving up towards the throat are about mastery, because you've got the 1858, which goes up to the throat through the 4816, and a lot of that channel there is about repetition, about honing your skill, honing your craft, seeing what, each time you do something and repeat it, making it better and better and better, right? That's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
that energy there in the spleen is about doing that, about getting that done. Sorry, I was looking for something. Oh, it's right in front of me. I had a note and it was right in front of me. I just couldn't see it. My microphone was in the way. So yeah, so those gates there. So when the pulse is ready, it's more of this drive to refine and to master whatever it is that you're bringing forth. And then
Mm-hmm.
when the going up through the sacral, those are the format energies, and so it's giving that pulse of that energy to the sacral, which is that
Mm-hmm.
sustainable energy. And so it goes up through the channels of the circuitry is logic or abstract or knowingness.
Individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So um, it's giving fuel to the sacral, it's giving fuel to the sacral, something to respond to, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, am I using this energy? Am I going to be able to use it? What am I going to do with it? It's the
Mm-hmm.
energy to do, right? To make, to build. And then over in the solar plexus, when it is giving energy that way, it's, you know, creativity, creation in a more intentional way by getting
Mm-hmm.
in alignment with how it feels, your emotional energy of being able to understand and create, as we talked about before, with intention, what it is you want to have happen, not reacting like you do through the spleen of, you know, trying to make it right, but, you know,
Mm-hmm.
create. Does that make sense to you? Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
quick review. So, as such, all of those gates in the root, because of the kind of energy that wants to move through them, there are things that you can do to be prepared so that when that pulse of energy comes, when things are lined up, if you are in alignment and you're prepared, that pulse can come through, whether, and this is whether you're defined or undefined, it doesn't matter, because you can recognize what that pulse feels like. You understand that
Mm-hmm.
this is energy I have available now. I should use it now. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
with my completely open, I don't always know that. I'm just feeling everybody's stuff, and I always feel pressure to be doing something, and I'm just scattered most of the time. It's just useless energy to me. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying, now that I know about it, I am trying to pay attention to it more and see those different types of energy. So, what I thought we'd do is just kind of run through how to prepare based on what these channels are about. So, if we are looking over towards the spleen,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, these channels, well, let's just really talk about the gates. So it's the 58, 38, and the 54 are what head off to the spleen center.
Okay.
And so gate 58 is this starting point. It's called the joyous. And
Mm.
so it has the ability, because this is in that channel of judgment of knowing when something is weak or unhealthy, and it needs to be, you know, refined. It needs to be strengthened. It needs to, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but basically it brings with it this, the energy of joy is what helps kind of prepare the pathway for this channel for when the pulse is on. So let me gather my thoughts here, because sometimes, you know, I know what I want to say, but it's hard to get it to
Mm-hmm.
come out right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this gate wants to provide this energy of providing something that has a value. It appreciates beauty, and it appreciates all the joy in life, and the things that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, look beautiful and feel good. Like this is this gate, this energy that comes through. It's trying to bring that energy through, because it is this whole circuitry, this channel that these two channels that move up to the throat are about doing something for the joy of it. Okay, to bring more beauty forward into the world.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to contribute something, if you are focusing on the vitality and joy for life, then when you're living more joyfully, that helps create the pathway to get into alignment, to bring something forward that is
Mm-hmm.
going to then be served by that energy. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
It doesn't have to like break through a wall. There's already like a window there.
Oh, yes, very good. Thank you very much. And so moving up to the next gate, to gate 38. Now, this is part of that channel of struggle, but gate 38 is the gate of the fighter. And so, in order to create a pathway here, so to speak, it's really, if you could start focusing on, not focusing on, but just allowing for maybe more adventure in your life, because this is energy that enjoys a challenge. And so
Mm.
I was just watching The Amazing Race last night, and it made me think of this. So they had to, one of
No
the,
spoilers, because I'm starting to get caught up on it.
oh, okay. Well, they're in France, and one of their
Okay.
roadblocks, whatever, where they have to stop, you know, where they have to do something, a challenge or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, a challenge. And one of it is doing these games that knights used to do while they were waiting
Mm-hmm.
in between battles. So if you think
Oh,
about
okay.
They weren't fighting, but it was kind of occupying their time and it was challenging them so that when it was
Mm,
time to fight, they were still staying sharp. It was like little puzzle games or physical things that kind of
mm,
weren't really poised towards battle, but it was just poised towards challenge to keep them kind of
mm-hmm.
sharp. And that's kind
Hmm.
of what you can do here is if you can challenge yourself, maybe to try a new skill or just maybe go for a drive and you don't know where you're going, go on a new adventure, try something new, just be open to meeting new challenges so that when that pulse is on and then there's something that you really want to work towards, which is that channel is about, learning and refining through seeing what's worth fighting for, then
Mm-hmm.
you've created that pathway of like, I can do this. I'm up to the task because I know how
Mm-hmm.
to. So that's
Okay.
that. You can focus on that. As we move up to gate 54, which is the gate of ambition. And
Mm-hmm.
this is always looking to be recognized, because it's like climbing the ladder. It's the energy to move forward and be seen and be recognized, basically. Gate of
Mm-hmm.
ambition, always climbing that ladder of wanting to
Mm-hmm.
be better, do better. So in the meantime, before that pulse of energy is there to apply yourself in that direction, you can lay the foundation, basically. You can prep yourself so that what that looks like is, well, let's say you are ambitious and you want recognition. What are
Mm-hmm.
some things somebody would do in a corporate environment? They
They'd
would,
like take on more work, do their work really well.
well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say that, yes. I mean, that's definitely something you do want to do your work well if you're looking to get promoted, but it would also
Mm-hmm.
be like presenting yourself and putting the things in place that shows you are the person that, that wants the attention. So that would be like, I don't know, updating your resume, or if you are an entrepreneur, and you're starting something new, getting your website ready, laying the foundations. People don't make business cards anymore, I don't think, but just getting your contact and like setting the stage and being ready for whatever it is that you've
Mm-hmm.
got the foundation in place. It would be, almost like when you're ready to have a baby, you do all this preparation work beforehand to make sure that when the time is right, because we don't know when it's going to be necessarily, that you're prepared. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what that energy is there. So in those gates there, it's about just being more joyful, being prepared, being up for adventure and excitement. And so that when that pulse comes, you're like ready, you can
Mm-hmm.
help influence when it comes. What do you think
Okay.
about that so far?
I like it.
So, okay. So moving over, if we were then to move over to, let's just go over to the solar plexus on the other side. I just mix it up for you. I know you like to go nice and around in a circle, but we're going
Okay. Okay. We're going over the solar plexus.
to, well,
It
so
still has symmetry to it, so it's okay.
it does. It does. I mean, it is a nice symmetrical center. This one is for sure. Has a
Yes, it
nice
is.
3 on top, 3 on either side. Okay.
And I believe even my definition in it is pretty
It is. It's very
symmetrical.
symmetrical. Very symmetrical. It's perfect. So the solar plexus, like we said, is all about emotional alignment. And half of us are
Mhm.
defined, half of us are undefined, the solar plexus. But that's we're learning, because as we transition into this new paradigm, this is going to be our main center of awareness, of emotional awareness, in the sense that using how we feel in order to create and line up with what it is
Mhm.
that we want to do. And so, in order to do that, some of the things you can do to help influence that, if you look down at gate 41, that channel there, 41 to 30, this energy here is all about having a vision of what it is you want to bring forth, what it is you want to create. Can you see it? Have you gone through in your mind and visualize the future outcome that you want? That's a really
Mhm.
good way to help influence that energy, because, without really having a vision for what it is you want to create, it kind of stymies that energy of like, well, it's like, we're waiting. What do you want to do? What do you want
Mhm.
to do? And then moving up to gate 39, 39 to the 55, there's a lot of individuality here of this very emotional, moody type energy. It's
Mhm.
being in the mood or not to act as it goes up towards the the throat center. I don't know if this sounds familiar to you. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to be in the mood to create or socialize or do any of these things. And so there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of learning there in about that emotional wave. But it's also the gate 55 that it connects to is the gate of faith. And it's the gate of this channel here. There is a lot of like trusting and expecting what you want to come forth when the time is right. So there's a lot of positive expectation there. If you are wanting to influence time, it's about really focusing on the positive aspects of what it is you want to bring forth, and having the faith and trusting that what your vision is, what you want to have happen, has already been put in place, and you're just waiting for the right time for that to occur. Does that make sense? So having this attitude of positive expectation, which they go very much hand in hand, those two, I think, because I think when you have that vision for what you want, it does create this, it should, I mean, if you can hold it long enough, because a lot of times your mind and the logic and all the like experience of what has happened in the past exactly wants to come in and shut it down. It's like, well, it'd be nice if I could, have my own business and run things the way I want to, but XYZ, that's what we do. And that's also where we tend to feel that pressure that there's not enough time. I have to work. I have to take care of my parents or my kids or whatever it is you have to do, right? It's going to take too much time. It's just not possible. Well, what these two gates are saying are you have to have faith that if you are in the right emotional alignment, you have a vision, you can help bring that forth by holding that positive expectation. And then gate 19, this channel here is tribal energy. And so it is all about community and resources. And its gift is having the sensitivity of having these resources, but also of who to bond with. What is, am I going to be supported? And so how you can use this energy here of getting ready is making sure. Is this
like the black and white channel?
Yeah. Yeah. This is you can make sure that you are supporting yourself, or you're surrounding yourself, with people who support your vision and what it is you want to create. And so it doesn't mean like everybody in the world has to be on board with you, but it means knowing that you have people that are going to be around you to maybe help pick up the slack in areas that you can't, if you are focusing on something you want to do, that can support you. Or even what they say, you are the, 5 people around you, 6 people, you are the,
you're
like
a conglomerate around the 5 people that you associate with the most.
Right. And so and this is really important. And I know, a lot of people are like, they don't support my family doesn't support what I'm doing, or my spouse doesn't get it, or my parents are always telling me to do this or whatever. And those people will be there, and that's fine. It's not, you don't have to cut those people out of your life. Just maybe don't share your dreams with them. Share it with people who support and understand what it is you want to do. And if you don't have anybody do that, just strengthen those bonds you have with the people around you where you can. And it's really about finding that supportive community and not surround yourself with people who want to tear you down. See you fail.
That's very important.
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, I know we can't always choose, every day who we get to be around because of work or whatever, but we do get to choose where we invest our energy, or how we invest our energy with those people, And so I know who I can share what I'm passionate about and my future. I know who I can share that with, and who I don't even bother talking to with it, because their input will just bring me down.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there. Yeah. So basically, the codes there, how to get ready, is just have a vision, expect the best, and surround yourself with people who are going to support you in that vision. Is another way. And so then as we go straight up the middle there to the sacral center, as I said, this is the energy to do and to get
Mm-hmm.
moving. And there's a pulse there. And so if we look at gate 52 on the right there, the channel there is this channel of focus and concentration, basically. And what's interesting is this gate 52, it says this is one gate that is only able, it has this pulse of movement energy of like getting something going, but it's getting something going that is focused and concentrated where you have to be still. Okay. So it's really interesting. It's this
Kind
strange,
of contradictory.
it is contradictory, but your brother is a good example for me because he has this channel. I believe he has the whole channel. I know he has the gate 9.
I think so. I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah. Of being able to do, yeah, it's called the channel concentration, being able to do this focused work is that what you need to do here is to make sure that you have in place maybe areas of your life, not areas of your life, time in your life where you do kind of do this focused, concentrated work. So your nervous system really knows what to do with it when the time is right. So a mindfulness practice, meditation, things that help you when that pulse is on to concentrate, you have the ability, your nervous system has the ability to focus.
Or like when he made that thing for Lori, that like castle thing.
Mm-hmm. He's gotten really into, all right, ladies out there, he's single. He's really gotten into.
Wow, why are you gonna say it like that?
Because I love him. He's my son, and I think what he does is cool. But I don't want to give he's a very interesting person. But when you say that his latest passion is building these intricate models of robots.
I know. I saw he bought those markers.
Oh my gosh, he's done like 6 of them. He'll go down to the hobby store, and then the last one he's still working on. And it is, I mean, there's hundreds of little teeny tiny pieces that he has to use like tweezers and stuff with, but it gives him so much satisfaction. He's a generator. It gives him so much satisfaction to sit there. I mean, he will sit there for hours and focus on just that. And it makes me crazy thinking about it. Like I saw what he had yesterday because there are these plastic models and it comes in all these sheets of plastic. You know how you break away things?
Yeah.
Right. And it's very delicate. And I just picked up one of them and I looked at it and I just, and all the instructions are in Japanese. Okay. It's just pictures. And I just like,
well, he's had years of training from putting together Legos. That's all pictures.
I was just like, your brain, my brain do not work the same way because I see things like that. And I mean, literally it makes me
your skin nauseous. Starts crawling.
I can see that. I'm like, I don't like that, but that's not what I like to do. But I can do focused and concentrated work when I need to, because of different ways that I use my nervous system of having practiced mindfulness and concentration so that when that time is ready, I am ready to focus. I know what it takes, basically. So then straight up the middle there, gate 60, this is mutative energy. And what's interesting here is this is that individual channel that goes straight up the middle of the chart and starts at the gate 61 in the head. Okay. That's the pressure up there. 61's pushing down. And then the 60 is pushing up. And this energy, 60 is called the gate of limitation. And it's understanding, that there are limitations. There's only, you basically that you can't force change. You have to allow it. You have to be ready for it. And you have to just kind of relax into knowing that there is going to be change at some point because everything is always changing, mutating, growing, right?
Change or die.
Yeah. And so what you can focus on here is gratitude because it's really being grateful in this sense of, I don't even, the things that got me here, all the little pieces that came into place here, this is I know something new is always going to be coming, and I'm so grateful for what I have now, or I'm grateful that this happened or that happened, even though at the time you may
Mhm.
not have been. So it's more about focusing again on those positive aspects of where you are. Cause they say that, you can't change what you hate, right? If you are
Mhm.
always focused because of the universal laws, if you're always focused on the things you don't like, how does it make
You're
you
gonna
feel?
see more of them.
Yeah, because your energy feels, ugh, and
Hmm.
it's one of those hardest things I think in the whole manifestation process is how do you how do you foster change, or how do you let things happen without focusing on what you want, but what you don't want? Because what Abraham Hicks says is that the now that you're living right now, the reality you're in right now
Hmm.
is old news. What you're living right now is old news because it came about from what you were thinking about or feeling before. It's already happened.
Yeah, that's trippy.
It's trippy. It's true though, right?
When you actually like sit and think about that, you're like, oh shit, that's wow.
Well, that's what they say. If you want to know what it is you think about your life, or what it is, what energy you're holding, look at your life now. And not everything's bad, and there might be
Hmm.
certain areas of your life are good, some you'd like to change, right? And so if you focus on the things you don't want, you're just going to bring more unwanted,
Hmm.
because that's the vibration you're holding. So that means that you're grateful for the mystery of what's to unfold, really, is holding this
Mm.
gratitude of mystery, which gate 61 up in the head is gate of mystery. It is about not quite seeing the whole picture. And now that energy is different. It's always trying to figure out the whole picture, but those are the
Hmm.
gate that comes through in those aha moments of when you just you take off the expectation, you allow things to just kind of come when they're ready to come. Then you can be like, okay, all right, I got it. And
That's
so,
another puzzle piece.
yeah. So this is this, just allowing it, being grateful for what is. And then when the time is right, when you are in that more good feeling place, when it comes, it comes. Now, lastly, the reason I went to this gate last is because of what you were talking about. Gate 53,
Oh, okay.
which is the gate of like beginnings, really. It's this beginning. It's cycles of beginning and endings, the 53 and the 42. So the 53, it's like completion. It's having the, not completion, the whole channel is about the cycles of completion of
Hmm.
beginnings and endings. So one way to prep there is to tie up loose ends. It is to clear out the clutter. It is to tidy it up. If there's anything hanging around, it's very hard to start something new when you're
Hmm.
cluttered with all these things from your past, or you don't have closure on, basically.
Hmm.
So it tells us that if you want something new to come through, you got to make sure that you have, pretty much tidied things up.
Yeah. Your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. I
Mm-hmm.
always really have to think about that phrase and make sure I say them correctly.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is you don't have the 53, but the moon is moving through gate 53 as we speak.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
So, especially if you're more tuned, to these energies, you might feel it before it actually gets there. So it just started moving, and it'll move throughout the day or whatever. But maybe you felt that energy coming on, and you are
Hmm,
able to use it. And so that's why I was like, oh, that's
that's
so
cool.
interesting, because you basically
That's cool.
encapsulated what I was going to say about that gate, is that you feel this pulse, this energy to get things moving and get ready for things.
Hmm.
So anyways, I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So, what is your takeaway then of how you can influence timing if you're in your normal everyday life? What should you be focusing on or cultivating? Cultivating is a better word.
Well, definitely a lot of them are about, and like there's one gate in every single spleen, solar
Mm-hmm.
plexus, sacral, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they're about, that positive, I hate saying positive mindset, but
I know
like
what you mean. I know what you
just
mean.
being more like joyous and happy and like you said, grateful.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help you on a lot of those, being prepared. And then a lot of the other ones were just kind of about being like improving yourself kind of, and like doing things that are like making you better so that you are prepared when the time is right for something bigger to
Mm-hmm.
be around.
No, it is like the supportive um, foundation, laying a foundation, being
Mm-hmm.
supportive, making sure you're physically and emotionally ready, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and then having a positive outlook on things. Like you said, I know positive seems like such a trite word, but I mean, everybody knows what it means.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to note that if you don't always feel these things, that's fine. Again, this is not like you have to do this or it's never going to happen.
All the time, always.
Yes, you are now a robot only programmed for positive things. That's not life. You know,
That's not human.
that's not human. And really, I mean, you don't know honestly which direction life is taking you at any point. Every choice point puts you in a different direction. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've seen that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No.
Anybody wants to have their mind blown a little bit about quantum possibility, watch that movie. It's pretty good. It was actually very good about
Mm-hmm.
all the different timelines of someone's life, because they say every
Mm-hmm.
time you make a choice you create a new timeline in quantum
Well,
reality.
yeah. I mean, one of the podcasts I listen to, they talk about all the time about sliding door moments.
What's that
Like
podcast?
how
Do you
it's
remember?
like that one is Sinisterhood. They talk
Oh,
about the
okay.
sliding door moments all the time because they do like listener stories and people will like
Mm-hmm.
send in stories about how they like may have been in this like one area at this point in time, like at
Mm-hmm.
the mall on like a Tuesday, and then like an hour later after they had left, something happened. They're like, that was like a sliding door moment. Like this one like choice that you made can
Mm-hmm.
completely send you in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. And it sort of touches on what I was talking about in the last episode, is that we don't know what is really happening behind the veil, so to speak, of what is lining up for us. Our higher self, the universe, knows what we want, and it's always trying to get us there through the path of least resistance, right? And this is what
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about, being able to line up with that. But it's also in that one part of trusting and faith there, is that when things don't seem like they're working out for you, or you feel like you're being stymied, maybe taking a look at it and saying, okay, I don't know what's going to happen or what's supposed to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to trust that I'm in the right place at the right time. And that's what this is really all about, is trusting that. Because this is something I learned even before human design or whatever, is, this rushing, and we're always going, and how you can influence what's happening around you is by just releasing your expectation of what's happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
Because like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, when you're in a hurry and you're trying to get somewhere and you get stymied all the time, you hit every light and you're like, you're trying as hard
Mm-hmm.
as you can to get there fast,
Mm-hmm.
and everything slows you
Mm-hmm.
down. You ever wonder about,
Yep.
why is
Mm-hmm.
that? And then I just laugh
Yeah.
about it now, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm supposed to get there at a certain time. It knows that I'm just going to turn that over. I mean, it can feel frustrating in the
Mm-hmm.
moment. I mean, nobody likes stopping at all those red lights. I freaking hate them.
Mm-hmm. But like, if you're hitting every red light, maybe it's because if you're 5 minutes earlier, you're going to get in a car crash. Like the universe is telling you, you don't need to be there right now.
And
You need to be where you are right now.
and then, yeah, and it doesn't have to be that dramatic. I agree with you.
No.
I like to think that all the time. I'm like, I'm being protected, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be that the person that you're supposed to run into, maybe open a door for them, they're not there yet either.
Mm-hmm.
These little miracle moments where we meet people, it's also setting that
And
up.
yeah, like if someone was supposed to open the door for you or you're supposed to open the door for them, like that may be the only interaction you have with that person,
Mm-hmm.
but that could be something very monumental for them.
Exactly.
Or like it is something for you. It's like
a kind word or
very
whatever.
fun to
Yes.
think about.
It is fun. Like I said, and I talked a little bit about it in the last episode. That's the whole tenet in the Course in Miracles, is that it says, one of the main things it says is miracles occur naturally, and all miracles is when things are lining up, and we are the miracles meeting each other. We are what causes miracles to happen in each other's lives, is our interactions that we have with each other and around us at the same time. So it's like, when things look like they're not going your way, it tells you to like change your mindset of knowing what's supposed to happen based on what you want, and then saying, well, I don't really know anything.
Mhm.
And that is what all of these systems tell us, is you don't know anything. You're just here, like it says in human design, you're here to enjoy the ride. You're the passenger.
Mhm.
Just live in the space of enjoyment and trust, and just
Mhm.
enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Caesar.
Do things to prepare yourself and,
Mm-hmm.
just be cognizant of
Mm-hmm.
what's happening.
And the
Don't
course,
fight it.
the course would always say, it's not difficult. It's just different. This way of living is not difficult. It's just different, because it is counter to everything we've always been taught, is that we have to make things happen and we have to force it and control it.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that's not true.
If it's not difficult, it's not working.
Ugh, I don't like that.
That's the mentality a lot of people have.
I was gonna say, is that some motivational thing somebody put somewhere? Some bro guy out there
Probably.
teaching you how to make things happen. All right, so that's all, and I really like how you you wrap that up. You synopsized how to influence time a lot. I appreciate it. So I hope that was helpful to everyone. And so I guess we'll just wrap it up there. And I'm glad to have you back with us to add a little excitement to the conversation. bringing that joy with your defined 58. You do. You always bring a lot of joy. So, okay. That's it for today. We'll catch y'all in the next episode. So, bye, Haley.
Bye.
You made it all the way to the end of today's episode, so you must have liked what you heard. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and perhaps leave us a good review. And if you know someone who wants to dig into all things human design with us, make sure you share the Human Design Hive podcast with them. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.